Welcome to another Plan 6 parts video. Nearly stumbled everything. Today's video, door check strap. So somebody sent me a message, asked me can I do a video on changing the door check strap because they need to do the ears. So here it is. Okay, so in order to change the door check strap, it's a simple job actually. It is pretty simple, but it depends what's going on or why you need to change it. So let's start off with first of all removing it from there. The first thing obviously you want to do is your seal. So basically the door seal that runs along here you're going to have to peel off because your whole panel that's on the back here has to come off because you need to gain access from behind. Now depending how yours is on, maybe yours is glued on, maybe it's screwed on, you'll find 3 screws along here and probably 2 further back. I know you're not exactly seeing much because I have zoomed in, you know. So you'll find probably 3 screws along here and further back where the wiring harness is, there should be maybe 1 or 2 there, or else it's spray glued on. Anyway, that does need to come off because you have to gain access into here. Okay, so what is the actual check strap? Let me show you one. Here's a brand new one. They're easily sorted. There are one does both sides, so that basically just depending on which way you twist it, depends which side of the door, which side the car goes on. If you can see this, I'm going to use a screwdriver. It's basically the strap itself has these 2 little metal clips, as you can see the way it's shaped, and that right in here is when you open the door and you hear that clacking sound, that bang sound. That's the as this passes over in the clip, it goes on the inside of both these, separates them. That's when you bang back down. So as much as you think that banging sound is not right, that's meant to be like that. If it's not banging, these are broke. And they do break, they do snap along here. Some people even snap them off because they don't want that sound. But that's what stops your door from going in. It's either fully open or fully closed. That's pretty much in a nutshell. You don't get any modern car that has grooves here for different positions. So that's basically it. It's an easy piece of thing. Okay. So to remove it, so usually along here, let me show you. You would find, if it's original one, it will have a rivet. In this case, there was a nut and bolt. Now, I've already removed the nut because, well, I don't think you need to see me doing that. Now, this one here, I wasn't going to change anyway, but I decided I'm going through the process of it, and I'm going to show you the things that you may find when you remove it, or why you're removing it. So, if you undo the rivet here, obviously drill through it or bang it through. Either way, pop the rivet out, and that will leave this all open and exposed. So, in other words, take the pressure off the door. It'd be like this, and then basically it's loose. However, it's not out yet. In order to get it out, what you do is, if it was the rivet, find either a little tiny screwdriver or again a little bolt, and actually put it back in. Push it back through. Because what you do is you're going to push it through and actually close the door. And now, sorry, my little camera holder here is going all over the place. It will push it through until it pops back out. And once it pops through the clip, you can then remove your nut or your bolt and open the door again, and now it's completely free. Now this is free, it's on the inside, and now from the rear here, hopefully you can see it, we're just going to pull it out. And hit the camera while we're at it. Okay, so, well, we'll have the camera out and we'll hold it. Now we have it out, let's look at this part. So this rubber is this here. You can buy these, they're pretty damn cheap. And I held on with just 2 screws. Just 2 self-tapping screws, or any screws, really little tiny holes. Pretty similar to how the door sensor is put on. Anyway, this only comes off when the check strap is off. So when it's off, now you'll undo these screws and take it off. Most likely if you're doing this, I can guarantee these are probably more likely painted. So this obviously was being changed at some point because they're too black not to be. Okay, so I'm not removing them. However, what I want to do is look inside here. This little clip here is what goes, so the check strap is, it goes either side of it. So as you can see the check strap here, this piece, the front goes right through the middle, and then the 2 little lobes go top and bottom. So when it goes, this is the part that goes through, and when it spreads open and comes back down, there's your clack sound, or your snapping sound, whatever you want to call it. This piece here is changeable. You will find a lot of them can be broken. Now, I've always found that they're always broken on the top and not the bottom for some reason. This will stop a snapping because there's no pressure on it. These are rivets. These are just simple rivets. So if you drill these out, you can replace this unit. I had one and I can't find it for love nor money. But these are just two little circles and this long, I don't know if you call it an oval shape or not. But you can get these parts new. So to replace them, you can either put another rivet back in. You can put a small little nut and bolt if you want in. That's really it, but they're held in by rivets. A normal rivet gun mightn't work just because of the big distance between trying to get all the way into the back here and there, it mightn't work. You could try the rivets that have the screw, so riveting in that way. You don't necessarily have to put a screw in it. But yeah, it's when I've done it, I've put little tiny nuts and bolts in just to hold it in, as long as there's good pressure on it. The door. All right, let me turn the camera this way. Here's where you'll find the most problems, and you can see this already has the problem, which is it's broken. It's either one is broke or two is broke. This is just basically fatigue, and most likely somebody pushing up and down on the door when it's open to try align it, and then it just basically snaps here. This unit is basically where my fingers is a plate. There's a plate that actually sits all the way at the back and just pops out. It's actually riveted on the inside. However, if you need to replace this, check out Ellen's video on Rusty Beauties. He has a great video on actually replacing this. He does his own way. It's pretty good. It works. It's simple. Well, it's simple if you can weld, should I say, and grind. And that's it. Other than that, to actually replace this, you'd have to take off all the door panel and basically break it off from the inside and weld it back on. I do have one of these lying around again somewhere, and again, God knows where I put it. So, yeah, or you can put something on the outside. It depends how cosmetically you want it to look. But for most people, they usually end up with one left because, as you can see, the top of this broke. Now, will this work? It will, but obviously eventually the strength is only 50% of what it should be because you're only using one ring and not two. Alright, so let's say, I have to go put the camera back in its cover again. Hang on a second. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't pop out. Now, let's say, for example, you change all this and you have it all done. You just put a new strap in. So, to get the new one in, it's pretty much the reverse of the same way. Make sure you change your rubber first. If you're changing that, you've changed it. If you're fixing this, you fixed it. Everything's going back in. The strap is going back in. You have to just remember which way it faces because there is an angle to it. So depending on which way you angle it. So don't get confused with turning it. When you look at the forward, it has to face the door. So in this case, hopefully you can see it. It has to face outwards when you finish. So let me show you again. So to get it in, I want to make sure you know which way it is. Make sure that when it finishes, it's facing outwards towards the door. So that's the way it's going to go in. So I'm going to come in from behind. I'll slip it through. Oops, sorry, I didn't even get to see this. Just slip it through. Now you're not going to be able to pull it through, but we're going to do the exact same as what we've done before, with pushing out to pushing it back in. Which is you're going to get your bolt, of course. Now this one decided to go for a walk, and yeah, the usual stuff goes missing. Oh no, there it is. There's my little bolt. So I'll do the same thing. I'll close the door. I'll pass it through the holes, and I'll pull it. There we go. Now I can ease it off, and if I'm not using that, that's fine. I can take it out. If I'm using it, that's fine. If you are using a rivet, this is what the rivets look like. These are the actual rivets for the doors. As you can see, they're long, they're open-ended. There's a few ways you can do this. One is you can use a vice grips and put like a ball bearing out of a bearing in here. You could use these tools as well. If you ever get one of these, if you ever do snaps, sorry, I'm trying to do it, you can see. These will work as well. As long as you have good pressure at the bottom here to spread this end out, it will work. Because it's only a certain size, you can get to it here. Obviously these are the harder ones because you can only really go one direction, so you basically have a standard rivet to go by. But if that was the case, you'd be coming from the rear, so you have to find another way of doing it. That's why I go with the little threaded nuts and bolts, just because it's easier. But if you can get them in, great. Anyway, so that's it. After that, I just basically I'd put the nut and bolt back on it, and that's really it. The only other thing I do is I will probably put a bit of bearing grease on here, just a small bit, just enough to make sure it slides through here a bit more, because obviously metal on metal will eventually wear down. And if your one is good, if sorry, I'll move the camera here. If your clip here is anyway decent, what you can do is before you put the door check strap back in, you can basically just run some foil, like a foil through it, some sandpaper through it, and put a tiny bit of grease if you can in there. And again, it just makes life a little easier. It's still going to snap and make the bang, but a little bit of grease will just make that door slide a little bit better and help obviously with the friction. So in this case, I'm basically going to put a nut and bolt back in. This is not much I can do because I'm not repairing it. But I said, check out Ellen's video if you want to see how to repair this. And that's really it. So I hope this was helpful in how to change the simple little check strap. Ooh, the camera lens is falling off. So thanks for watching. And like I said, if you ever need any videos, give me a shout and I'll try my best to get them done as soon as I can. So thanks for watching.